Caring for the carer beyond traditional stress management with logosynthesis. Hi, I'm Cathy Caswell, and I'm the owner of the Healthy Living Plan, where I guide individuals to use logosynthesis to relieve stress and to unlock their potential in work and life. So, a bit about my experience from a caregiving perspective. Um, my parents lost their independence. My mom passed away 3 years ago, and she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease 10 years ago. And my dad has been struggling with Parkinson's disease for the last 5 years. So it's a relatively long-term situation. I don't live close by, and I belong to a large family that were raised on hard work and teamwork. So we come together to let my dad stay at home. And yeah, my my task is how do I best support my dad and my family while taking my own steps to look after myself? So there is an acceptance of responsibility, a spark of curiosity, a healthy dose of faith. I think often of the serenity prayer, knowing what I can change and what I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? A periodic deep breath. And from a logosynthesis perspective, I've been able to pay attention, recognize my reactions, identify and shift the triggers. And this ties into the wisdom to know the difference. If I'm stuck in react mode, then I lack the wisdom to know what can be changed and what can't. As I clear away the underlying triggers, I can take more meaningful action. So that is a background from my perspective. What is your experience? Do you relate to this? Are you perhaps looking after a child or, is your work in the field of caregiving? And then what steps do you take to pay attention to your part in the process? So here is an overview of our session today. Um, I'm going to start off talking about caregiving as a joy and a burden. We'll then talk about stress as reactions. We'll cover common caregiving issues, a guided experience with logosynthesis to relieve some stress, and then I'll highlight some available resources and open it for a chat. So, caregiving as a joy and a burden. Last May, I was fortunate to visit Vienna and I met a cousin who is a priest at St. Michael's Church right in the heart of Vienna. And he said, Cathy, everything in life is a joy and a burden. This beautiful church where people love to come and pray and listen to music is also a burden, the finances and the care that it takes, right? And so that stuck with me. And as I was preparing this presentation, I also think of caregiving. There's so many elements of joy, and yet the added demands can be a burden. So the people we care for are important to us. Our care matters, and this can be a joy and a burden. If it didn't matter, then it may not cause us stress, right? We care for others, but often we might wish for more me time. Sometimes people might tell us to relax, but being told to relax by others isn't always helpful, right? I've got too many things to do. And incidents can happen that have an impact long after the event has passed, and often without even recognizing it. And so when the demands on us increase, we may need to look beyond traditional stress management approaches. And you don't need to wait, right? We don't have to wait until things break. Life happens. At any time, a crisis can occur or not. And it helps to have a resource like logosynthesis um, for if something does happen. So the focus of the presentation is to release stress so that you are better able to embrace joy and to accept burden and to have the wisdom to know what can shift. So let's start by looking at navigating stress. So back in 2015, Willem Lammers came to Halifax, and he spoke to a group of working moms that I got together. And he said, I like to define stress as excess demands, excess external demands on a person's resources. And so he said, we can cope with the stress by changing the demands. We can let go of things or not. We can change our resources. We can work hard to build our strength. We can change how we react, or we can do nothing. And he said, over time, which with caregiving, we're not sure on what the timeline always is. Over time, these demands can wear us down. Trying to change our resources can wear us down, and doing nothing can break down as well. So let's focus on reactions. So we all experience pattern stress reactions. It's a human response, right? They're automatic. And it's not about whether the reaction is right or wrong. It's how much energy is bound in it, how intense is it. And it's not about cognitive thinking. And sometimes we run into problems here because what we feel is different than what we rationally think. And so we push it aside. So pattern stress reactions are not about cognitive thinking. They are triggered by past experiences, memories, beliefs, fantasies. We're not always aware of the trigger, and they can derail you without even realizing it. Okay. One of the things I say is we always end up doing what we believe is right. So why would we change it? So my guidance is don't stay stuck. Notice your reactions, identify and resolve the triggers, and then you can take more meaningful action. And I use the analogy of a splinter. We don't leave the splinter in our finger. We remove the splinter and then the body can heal. And that's the same for, working with caregiver stress. The memories, the past experience that keep triggering these stress reactions, once you shift them or resolve them, then they don't keep triggering, and your body can heal or you can experience relief. The dilemma is that only I can change my life. No one can do it for me. And that is what Carol Burnett says, and that is very relevant guidance. So the question is, do you want to change your life? And oftentimes we may not want to change our life. We don't want to do the work. And in part because, again, we're doing what we believe to be right. So we're not going to change it, or we don't know how. And so this is about shifting your reactions, and then your life changes. Okay. So it's not about letting go of everything that's causing you stress. It's about shifting your reactions, and then things simply let go or fall away. The stress does. If it bothers you, it's your work to do. And that is a challenge and an opportunity. And I fought it for a long time. And I really appreciate through logosynthesis was really the only way that I've been able to embrace it and experience it. But it is a huge opportunity because others can't control how I feel. And you don't need to do it alone in a group setting with a coach or a therapist, but you can also learn how to do it on your own. So the stress reactions are about what bothers you. If nothing bothers you, then arguably you might not have a whole lot of work to do. Or you might want to pay attention if some of your actions are bothering other people. Okay. So what bothers you, the thoughts, the emotions, and the physical sensations. So think stress reactions. And sometimes the body slams us. If we can't see it through our thoughts and emotions, sometimes the physical sensations are how we get to identify the work. And what triggers these stress reactions? It's common to think it's other people, it's situations in our work and life. And yet, when we go to a deeper layer of memories, beliefs, and fantasies, we have the power to shift them, to identify and shift them. And then other people and situations don't have the same impact on us. And if you're wondering, how does this tie into scientific literature, Cathy? Well, if you look at the scientific literature, there's a lot of interesting literature on mental imagery, which is the memories, beliefs, and fantasies, which we work with directly with logosynthesis. So, if we're looking at stress in general, the idea is how do we narrow it down? Now we're going to focus on caregiver stress. And caregiver stress involves you, it involves the person you care for, it involves other people in your life, and it involves work and life situations. So, you know, there's a lot of areas where things happen that trigger stress reactions, like normal everyday things. So it's not one and done. It's a healthy lifestyle practice and or coaching and therapy. Okay, the same technique can be used. So think of you, the person you care for, others in your life, and work life situations. So we're not here to create a lot of stress for you, but it's important to be able to identify where it may be derailing you. So the drivers, I mean the drivers in transactional analysis or in the business world that we talk about Kaler's drivers that kick in to meet demands. Even if you don't know what drivers are, you probably know what it feels like to be strong, be perfect, hurry up, try hard, and please others. And you say, well, these are good things to have, Cathy. I don't need to change them. And in normal conditions, they are good. They help us to motivate to get things done. And yet, in times of increased demands, they can derail us, they can cause us stress, and they can keep us stuck in stressful patterns. Also, pay attention to the shoulds. I should do more. I should be able to handle this. This is an entry point to working with logosynthesis. I need, right? So think of those inner dialogues. I need to control this, to organize it, and to hold it together. Or the I ams. I am responsible. Again, we say it's not about right or wrong. It's not about being responsible or not being responsible. It's how much stress is stuck in the belief that you need to be responsible, and can you let the stress go? So I am responsible. I am exhausted. About the person you care for. So we may not always realize it, but we experience grief and loss in this relationship as we care for the person. Maybe you feel caring for the person, but maybe you don't. Oftentimes with parents, we have a long history of past experiences that may have a lot of stress bound. You may feel guilt or worry or anger or fear, and there may be wishes, right? I wish my relationship was different. And can you come to an acceptance that it is not different and then take action, right? And be present in what is. And it's also about others in your life. And so, one of the things that happens when you're under stress, and we talk about it often, is that stress causes you to focus and you zoom in on what needs attention, and the other things become peripheral or on the side. And so, you put the needs of other people aside until the situation changes. You may not recognize their reactions and emotions, and they can be gradual shifts over time. And because in caregiving, we don't know the timelines, sometimes we go down this path until it's kind of hard to return. But again, in this work, we just notice what it is that's bothering us, and we can work from there. The other thing about others in your life is that there's an element always of giving and receiving. And if you're stuck in a caregiving mode, then you may be expending all your energy on giving. And just in that reactive behavior, you may not really be that receiving, right? So if someone tries to help you, what's your reaction? Or maybe you feel that others should be giving to you because you're giving to others. And then about work and life, the challenge is finding time and energy to meet demands. So notice what demands feel heavy. Notice what demands are, what things you're saying yes to without being able to say no, because that can be driven by beliefs. Accessing resources to both work and life, whether that's finances or personal resources. And, a lot of times we hear the talk, oh, you need work-life balance. Well, a desire for work-life balance may not be realistic. In this case, balance might not be what you're looking for. So it's an acceptance of what is and finding harmony in that. And um, sometimes it's about searching for meaning in both. And logosynthesis, again, um, offers a great entry point to connect with what is meaningful in your roles. So that takes us to an overview of caregiver care. It is both a joy and burden. It's accepting what you can, releasing the stress, and changing what you can. Relieving stress for healthy living, recognizing and working with your specific stressors. Oftentimes people tell me, oh, Cathy, I know what my stressor is. It's this process takes you to hidden stressors and it allows you to resolve them. So that is what is different about this work. This is why it is beyond traditional stress management. And then to be curious to explore what can shift. So without curiosity, um, we don't really have an avenue into the work. But with curiosity, it can be interesting. So I encourage you and invite you to free your energy to experience joy. Let's give it a try. So we'll address one issue using the Logosynthesis Basic Procedure. And this can be used routinely. So if you want to come back to this part in the recording, you can do another round of it, or you can find a video online. I have some additional videos. It can be used routinely as a healthy lifestyle practice, or you can do some work on your own and then find a coach or a therapist to take you to resolve deeper layers. So again, caregiving, it's about you, the person you care for, others in your life, and work-life situations. So for this exercise, I ask you to think of a specific caregiving issue that bothers you. Just one part, not the whole bundle of stress, but one specific issue that bothers you. And you can press pause if you need a bit of time to think about it. If you have a pen and paper, you can jot down a number of different issues that are bothering you. And when you're ready, you can move on in this video. So press pause if you need to, but we're just going to work with one specific issue. So as you connect with that issue, notice what are your thoughts? Okay, what is that inner dialogue? And don't filter the dialogue, just allow that inner dialogue to play out. What other thoughts arise around this issue, and then what emotions are associated with it. And as you connect with the thoughts and the emotions, notice what you're experiencing in your body. So if we say they're distressing thoughts, there's usually physical sensations with that. So is it a tightness in your chest? Do you feel it in your throat area, or is a weight on your shoulders? Don't analyze it. Don't rationalize or try to find reasons why you're experiencing it. Just allow yourself to be with these thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. And allow yourself to connect with the distress. And when you're ready, I'm going to ask you to rate the distress on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no distress and 10 being maximum distress. So give it a number somewhere between that. You can make a note on your paper so that you don't forget, and just jot down the number. And again, stay connected with the distress. It may have started a little lower and may be rising, and that's fine, because it's in that point of distress that you notice the perception arise in your personal space. So what do you see? What do you hear? What do you perceive, right? And where is it in your space? Is it something in front of you or behind you? And just allow it, if it's a bit of a movie, just allow yourself to connect with what's happening. And again, you can press pause, but just allow yourself to connect with what's happening. And when you're ready, I'm going to ask you to jot a note of this perception of what you perceive. Just make a note of what it is. And then I'm going to ask you to repeat the following 3 sentences aloud after me. And on Zoom, we have the ability to mute it and speak aloud. It's important to say the sentences aloud, okay? So I retrieve all of my energy bound up in this perception and everything it represents, and take it to the right place in myself. And then we'll pause, just allow the energy to shift, let the words work, connect with your breath. Don't analyze or think. Just allow it to shift. And when we're working from the videos, we can always pause at any point in time, like, right? To let more energy shift if we need more time. And now I'm going to ask you to repeat aloud after me the second sentence. I remove all non-me energy bound in this perception and everything it represents from all of my cells, all of my body, and my personal space, and send it to where it truly belongs. And we have another pause. Just allow the energy to shift. Connect with your breath. Allow the words to do the work without thinking and analyzing. And again, when people watch the video, they can pause, but we'll move on to the next sentence. I retrieve all my energy bound up in all my reactions to this perception and everything it represents, and take it to the right place in myself. That's the third sentence. We'll allow a pause to let the energy to shift once more. Depending what you're working on, sometimes the energy can feel quite intense, so we allow more time. And if everything has shifted and you feel calm, then we can move to the next. I'm going to ask you what happens. Have a drink of water. And just notice what happens to the perception, what happens to the thoughts and emotions and physical sensations. Sometimes everything falls away. Sometimes we activate a deeper layer because it's about uncovering um, deeper levels of the issue so that we can identify the root trigger sometimes. And we don't analyze, we just notice. And so then as you notice, I'll ask you to rate the level of distress now and compare it to before. So write down the level on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 no distress, 10 maximum, and then compare it to the number you wrote down previously. And then just observe, is there another layer now? Is there another image? Have the physical sensations moved to another part of your body? Did the number go up? Or is it, sometimes I think if it's a 0 or 1 or 2, then that is a good place to leave it. For the purpose of a demo, we don't do another layer now, but you can always come back to where you're at in your notes and revisit it later to see what is present and start with the logosynthesis basic procedure again. So the logosynthesis basic procedure holds a fair amount of space and safety to do this work, okay? So what shifts relating to the issue, and you can repeat as needed. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me, and I can guide you on the next steps as well. So then it's what did you experience? What questions do you have? If you can drop a note in the chat. And I'm seeing that people are like, I've uncovered another layer, stayed at a 7, before was 8, now a 5, an 8 to 2, 8 to a 4, pain in my neck at an 8, and now it's diminished. Okay. So as we wrap up, I want to offer some resources and then we'll open for a chat. Um, but I'd like to bring it to this quote from Viktor Frankl. So Willem often speaks how logotherapy with Viktor Frankl was important in the development of logosynthesis. And this quote is a nice reminder. Between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom. And so, from a logosynthesis perspective, I kind of question or offer that it's, when there's space, we can act. So, between on the top, stimulus, choice, act. But when we speak of triggers, we are speaking of the memories, the past experiences, the beliefs that are in our personal space around us as mental imagery, and they block the space between the stimulus and response. So there is no choice. We react. These are automatic reactions. And it's that way in memories, beliefs, and fantasies. Okay. So if we think we can find our way um, to act on these things that are bothering us, I offer that it may be more efficient and more effective to eliminate the trigger using logosynthesis and regain the choice. So we work using the power of words to resolve the energetic triggers or dissolve them or eliminate them. And when they are gone, then we regain the choice and we can once again respond. So it's important to pay attention. How do you respond? Is it an automatic reaction? And oftentimes they are. And can we clear the space? So I write about this. My daughter actually did the drawing for it in the book Thriving in Our Times. So that book is available on Amazon. And also the first book I wrote, Logosynthesis, Enjoying Life More Fully, I came to it as a busy working mom with a lot of demands. And this was the one model that I was able to shift some of my patterned reactions to recharge, revitalize, and reconnect. And if you want to go to the website, thehealthylivingplan.com, if you go under Learn and Books, you'll find some information on these books. I am going to be offering the Logosynthesis 101 course, a self-coaching course. It's open to everyone. Again, you can find it on the events tab on the Healthy Living Plan. My next course is February 3rd and 6th, a 6-hour course. And it's the foundations of working with distressing memories and limiting beliefs. And it's really an important one because it gives you an overview of theory and shows you how to work with the logosynthesis basic procedure. So the logosynthesis basic procedure is the cornerstone um, to to really working with the model, and this is a great opportunity to do that. Also, I am offering a free online gathering every second Tuesday. It's called the Caregiver Care Space to connect and release burden and experience a bit of joy. So, as we went through the presentation today, there's lots of areas where caregivers experience stress, whether you're caring for elderly parents or a young child or caring in a work role, then there's lots of areas where you can identify stress and release it. And oftentimes, it doesn't matter how practiced we are using logosynthesis, this is a dedicated opportunity to focus on you to do a piece of work. It's free of charge and it's a matter of connection. And I love the connection working with people with logosynthesis. So I invite anyone and everyone to join us. And you can share as much and as little as you wish in these spaces. So, well, maybe not as much as you wish. It's on the events tab as well. And if you want to book a complimentary call or explore additional resources, again, check out the website. And I just want to close by calling attention again to this joy and burden. And we are essence in the matrix. Each one of us is divine life energy, and each one of us has, um, a family history of things where energy is frozen that causes suffering. It's human responses, but essence does not suffer. And you can reconnect to your essence using logosynthesis. So again, let's release some of the stress, some of the burden, and experience a little more of the joy. So thank you for joining me. We'll open it up for questions and chat now. Take care.